the decision for me to go to Milwaukee, like when I first started wrenching, the power tools weren't really that big. They were all like, they were still NiCad and kind of like no one really took them seriously. They kind of worked, but you'd still use air, right? And I was like, and you can see even in my tool review, I'm still, like when I was talking about, you know, I still use my 3/4 air. I still like it. I mean, the 3/4 impact doesn't quite hit as hard as my 3/4 air, all that. The biggest thing I look for when I'm going is like, does it do the job better? Is it more convenient? And is it tough? Like, is it gonna withstand the abuse I put it through? Like we were talking about in like you guys saw the Milwaukee tool video where I'm going over my impacts. Like even the 1/2 inch impact, the big chooch is still, that's a loner because my impact's out for warranty right now because I'm hard on stuff. And like I said, it's not like they don't make a good tool, but we'll still break it. We'll still f it up. We're good at that. They get used hard. I look for, I mean, if it's something, if it's failing all the time on me, I'll just throw it in the box at home and I'll get it warranted maybe and then swap it out, throw it in the box at home. Don't even bother with it. The biggest thing for me, I just want a tool that works every time. That's like my pet peeve is when I go to grab one of those impacts and it doesn't work because maybe it's just on its last leg. I just look for durability is one of the biggest things. I know there's a lot of good, there's a lot of really good channels out there that show you, you know, they kind of showcase like things like peak torque and what one actually performs the best. You know, that's one thing, but for me, that's only part of the equation. I don't know what's happening here. This guy's parked or not. Is he parked or am I going by him? And she's waving me up. I just don't want to budge in line. I'm a polite guy, so. We'll wait till we get through these flaggers here. So, thank you, Torque Test channel, for commenting on our video. It means a lot. We really like your channel too. But those channels are great. You guys want to see like actual science? You want to see science in motion? Like check out those guys. Check out a lot of these other like real specific, like they really get into the numbers if you want to know the numbers. That's great. For me, like yeah, I'll pick a product based on its performance first. You know, that'd be like my first thing. Okay, does it actually it says, you know, 1,400 foot-pounds of nut-busting torque. Yeah, okay, I'll buy it. But does it actually take the abuse that I put it through? Because if not, I'd take the 1,200 foot-pounds of nut-busting torque that actually lasts, you know, every day. That's a big thing for me is, you know, longevity, durability, right? Like, can I drop it in a bucket of oil? Can I drop it in a mud puddle? I know you guys are probably like, well, man, like, why don't you just take care of your tools and keep them shined up and all that? And I always take care of my stuff. And yeah, I do too. But I mean, you see where I work. It's pissing rain right now. Like yesterday, the site I was working on yesterday, it was just a constant like mud puddle I was standing in. You know, it was a couple inches of just slushy grout water. Like, you know, anyways, you know what grout is. And like mud and mixed in, and just I'm standing in that all day, and that's gonna get in my tool. It is no question about it. Like I don't have my tools on a little retractable thing on my waist. They fall off onto the ground, or I'm working under the machine and I'm, you know, taking out drain plugs and I got to put my tool down or something, you know. And yeah, you put a piece of plywood down or something, but still, it gets everywhere. Like I can't. If I'm spending more time trying to keep my tools out of the dirt and the mud, I'm not doing my job. It's quick. I'm wasting time. So that's really not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a tool that lasts. You know, I want durability. That's a big thing for guys out in the field and in the trucks. You know, it's different when you're in a shop and you can, you know, you can control all that. You got your little shop bench and everything, and the floor is cemented, and you know, you got a heated shop and all that. But for me, this is where I work, out in the elements. So this is what we work in every day, though. I like watching the. There was actually another really cool video guy that was doing some stuff. I only saw a clip of it, and he's literally like chucking his Milwaukee impact across his yard, bouncing it off like scrap cars that are in his yard and stuff. I thought that was hilarious, and he just keeps kicking it and using it. You know, and that's awesome. I don't know if he uses it every day or as much as we do, but I thought that was pretty funny and pretty cool. I don't do that. I don't throw my tool on purpose. Because that's all I need is to throw it and then have it not work, and it's my own, you know, it's self-inflicted at that point. Oh, this road's so much better. This road's actually paved now. This used to just be all gravel, and we would like fly up it in our Toyotas. Yeah, no, we torture test tools. If that's what you want to see, well, you know, you guys can watch me use my stuff, and you see how I use it and where the kind of environments we work in. I mean, we do real world testing, I guess, is what you want to call it. I mean, it's like when you see the guys with like the AK-47s throwing them in the sand and water. It's like, why would you do that? Well, I don't know what I'm getting at with that. I just thought it was funny. I was watching that like comparison between like ARs and AKs, and guys got their nice shiny little AR, it's all polished up and all that, and then the guy at the AK is like, oh, but I can stick it in the mud, it still works. But why? Well, that's us, I guess. I guess that's us. Yeah, why Milwaukee? I never tried any other brands, but this pilot car is way too fast for me. I'm slow. I'm too heavy to be going this quick up the hill this steep. Sorry, but I gotta pay for this truck if it breaks down. Before I bought any of my impacts, when I first was kind of in the market for them, I was looking at the Snap-on, and I was looking at the Milwaukee stuff, and I even looked at Ingersoll Rand. Actually had some pretty cool stuff out too. Part of the reason I went Milwaukee was the battery platform, and it fits so much other stuff. Like they already had at that point, they still had quite a bit of other accessory typey tools, you know what I mean? Like they had the grease gun already, I think at that point maybe, and a few other things like that, and they were coming out with more and more stuff all the time. Snap-on was great, but I think maybe they got I think Snap-on has a grease gun now, but they don't have as many little odd jobby accessories and things here and there. Like I want to carry a skill saw in my truck so I can have the same battery set up for my skill saw as my impacts, and it just saves me batteries. You know, like saying having a bunch of different types of batteries, right? For my little tools, my M12s, I have like the die grinders and all that stuff, and I don't even remember what else I got. Oh, the ratchets and that kind of stuff. Actually, so that was a big thing. I was debating on even just getting the Snap-on ratchet, because I actually liked it a lot more than the Milwaukee one at first. And then I was like, well, I already got a bunch of Milwaukee stuff. Maybe I'll just keep the same tool kind of platform. Yeah, I hadn't bought any M12 stuff, so it wasn't like I was big invested into the M12, so I could have really switched battery platforms, I guess. It wouldn't make a difference, but I did decide to go with the Milwaukee stuff because they had a lot of cool M12 stuff out there. That was a big part of my decision, was like, one of its warranty actually is another part. Milwaukee's got pretty good warranty, which is huge for me, because you see how we treat our tools, like being able to warranty them, like kind of no questions asked, or, you know, at the very least, I maybe had to pay a couple bucks for an upgrade, or I get like the next version of the tool, I just pay the upgrade fee or whatever it was. But the warranty was a big selling feature. What they offered, like as a mechanic, like most of these like DeWalt, Makita, all these other brands, they kind of are geared towards like Perry homeowners and like contractors that do like house stuff and like that kind of thing, like woodworkers, carpenters, drywallers and stuff. I don't know, I'm not saying that like I'm not better than you guys. We're the same, we're all trades. I just need different tools. But most of that stuff's geared towards those kinds of guys. So Milwaukee was kind of like, oh, nothing but heavy duty. Well, that's me, right? So I was like, well, they got all these kind of more heavy duty geared tools, right? They got like the impacts, the ratchets, the grease gun, grinders, that kind of stuff. Like all these like tools that were, and then they were like coming out with, they had the 3/4, then they were coming out with like a 1-inch, all that other stuff. Like it was like, wow, this is a company that actually, there's more than just the building trades in the world that need power tools. Like maybe there's not as many of us in the heavy trades, you know, but this company actually like paid attention to that, which I like. It's like, oh, they actually were making tools for us. So yeah, I'm gonna buy their stuff. Snap-on kind of does. I found Snap-on very lacking in like, they didn't really buy a lot of tools for, or they don't really make a lot of heavy equipment specific stuff. They do and they don't. They used to not make anything, but now they do. Like more like heavy equipment specific things, I guess. They make a few little odds and ends here and there, but I think they're doing more and more like kind of heavy industry stuff. So mostly because I think Snap-on just buys out a bunch of like companies that do that stuff, and then they turn them into their Snap-on conglomerate or whatever. A lot of tools Snap-on sells are actually made by another company, like I think it's Williams or something like that for some of their sockets and stuff, and Baco or whatever the heck it is for their ratchets. But a lot of that stuff you can buy actually after, that's not Snap-on branded. You just don't get the Snap-on warranty. That's what you pay for with a lot of that stuff. Like, it's like, okay, I can source all this stuff on Amazon and all these different websites and kind of spend a bunch of time getting like Snap-on equivalents. And if you want to save money, that's a great way to do it if they're just sitting in your shop at home. But the crappy thing with that we were talking about is warranty. Like, I'll gladly I don't want to say I'll gladly pay it, but because you pay a premium for it, but I'll pay that extra couple bucks, or obviously more than that. You know, sometimes twice as much for that ratchet to get it off the truck, to know that it's warranted, like no questions asked when something happens. And I've warranted my ratchets lots. When you're in the truck, warranty's a big thing. Having a tool that's capable of withstanding what we put it through, you can get like that no questions asked warranty. That's a big thing. I hate arguing about warranty with guys. I don't want to. You know, you've seen how much shit's in my truck. I spent a lot of money with those Snap-on guys and Mac guys. I don't want to argue with you. Just warranty my stuff. I'm gonna keep buying stuff from you guys. I need to do my job. I'm always growing, so that's a big thing I think for us. You know, guys wonder like, oh, why do you buy so much expensive tools and all this expensive stuff? I'm like, yeah, it's expensive, but it really, if it makes my job easier, then I mean, it's worth it there, right? And I don't know, it makes me money. I think about where would I be at if I didn't have, you know, if I had all the homeowner spec stuff and all the cheaper stuff. Maybe I'd be, you know, I wouldn't be as efficient, or I wouldn't be taking the jobs that I do, or whatever. I mean, I don't know. It's different for everybody too. Like everyone's situation. I'm not here to tell you guys to buy all the best. I'm not like that either. There's guys that are, like we were talking about, tool snobs. We can segue into that. Let's segue into the whole guys that are like the tool polishers and want to buy the best just because. What did you call it? What's that? What was the word you used?
Oh, gear acquisition syndrome, gas.
Gear acquisition syndrome. I like that. That's funny. So do you buy stuff just because it's like the best out there, right? Like you buy a set of, like you see, I still got like cheap Mastercraft wrenches, stuff like that, because I know they work. But are you buying that stuff just because it's, you know, it's supposed to be the best? You know, like you open up your tool drawers and they're all shiny, like that picture of my aviation box. That was like the first day we got them. I was like, wow, these are sweet. Those were my tools, but I didn't actually own them. Those were all controlled because it was that setting. They had to have only certain tools at certain stations. You didn't want to have any more tools than necessary. They wouldn't let you have more. So they gave you a box like that was assigned to you, and it had those tools in it, and that was it, right? And those were all like brand new at the time. But are you buying these tools because they look nice? You got your nice Snap-on drawer full of the green-handled screwdrivers that all match and are all laid out, and you know, are you one of those guys that you just have to have it, or do you actually need it? Found that kind of funny watching that kind of stuff and seeing those guys. You know, I'm like, man, your stuff is so clean, like it's never even been used. Even when I was a shop guy, like, you know, for a few years there, I still used my stuff pretty hard, and you could tell like you worked with the tools, right? So. But, I mean, everybody's different. I'm not here to insult you if that's what you do. That's fine. Sometimes I think people get really caught up with the whole numbers thing, like, oh, this one puts out peak torque is this, like, it does that. It's got to be the best. Well, is it the best? Because if it doesn't last me a day in the rain and in the then it's not the best to me, you know? Or like those set of wrenches or whatever that you bought that are Snap-on, like, man, are they comfortable when you're reefing like 200 foot-pounds on them with your hand when you're hanging off it? Is it digging into your hand? No. That's why, you guys see my Mac wrenches? I really like those. They're super comfy, and they're a bit lobster clawish with the ends on them. You guys know what I mean by that? Like they're a little bit thicker on the end, but I really like them. They don't spread. They're very hard to spread. I'm not gonna say they don't, because we'll do that eventually. I'm sure we'll spread them out. But they've been really skookum wrenches for me. I really like them. They're super comfortable too. And like in heavy equipment, a lot of times we're doing a little bit higher torque than guys in automotive and stuff and other trades. And throw my 16 on a fastener that, you know, is hard to reach in a hard spot, and I really gotta yank on it because I can only get a wrench in there. I'm gonna wait for the jittery bumps. So anyways, yeah, when you're really hanging on that wrench and really pulling on it, like, is it hurting your hand? Because we got soft hands. I don't want to be uncomfortable every time I have to grab that wrench. You know, I like the ones with the nice smooth edges on them and no sharp edges. I don't know why they put, like, I got these Mac ones. They're the long-handled Mac ones, and I bought them because they're long handle. But like the Mac knuckle savers and those, they're like the edges of like the stock on them is like so sharp. I mean, call me what you want, I don't care. But man, I grabbed those and like And if you're really pushing on them, like they're not comfy to push on. And that's a big thing. Like when you're doing it every day, all the time, like it's nice to have a tool that's just a little bit easier on the hands, man. Like that's a big thing I go for, comfort. Are those handles like cutting edges? Are they like blades? You're pushing on them and they're just digging into your palm. You know, that's why I really like I said again, I really like those Mac wrenches. And the other cool thing, they come with that sweet holder, helps me organize them in the truck. I really like that. I grab the full set and I can go to the machine and they're all packed away there. You can buy them from Mac, but you can also get, I think Facom or Facom, you know, the French tool company. I don't know, Facom. Yeah, the French tool company, I think, they make those wrenches and they're really sweet wrenches. Because I think they're owned by like the whole Stanley, whatever conglomerate. The same thing as Snap-on, they buy all these tool companies. But Facom makes those wrenches. You don't have to buy the Mac version if you don't want to pay the Mac premium, but you won't get the same warranty, right? Ask yourself, okay, am I going to be using them all the time? Am I going to need warranty, anything like that? And I have broken one actually. Transmission bolt, a 24 mil transmission bolt on a John Deere, pulling a tranny on a 444, and I don't remember how I did. I was like just giving her on the wrench because I had to get a wrench in there, and I snapped it right off. I think I even have a picture of it. I'll throw it up if I have a picture. But I snapped the open end, just like broke off. I mean, tools they're gonna break. You kind of count on them. They're gonna break at some point. I think that's the first time I've really done like big damage to a wrench. Usually I just spread them. Usually they just end up spreading, or the box ends. Sometimes I think I've had them like snap opened on like the cheaper ones, but I've never actually broken an open end because usually they just spread and slip. So to me, I was kind of like, I don't know, is it a good thing that it broke like this, or would I have rather it spread? I don't know. Then maybe it would have rounded the bolts, let's say, I guess. I don't know. But either way, it's kind of funny. And my Mac guy warrantied it right away. You know, I called him. I was like, hey man, my 24 mil just snapped. You got one on the truck? Oh yeah, I'll bring one by, you know. And he comes by and swap it out, grab a new one, back to work, you know. I mean, I think I may do without it until I got the new wrench, but you know, that's the kind of service you pay for when you pay that kind of premium on the tools, right? So, you know, if you don't need that, you can buy the cheaper versions of stuff too, right? So, yeah. I present to you a quick featurette. This is Thomas. Is it Thomas or Tom? Thom. Oh, it's got a crane inside. That's neat. It like opens up. Yeah, I don't see a lot of like cube vans with cranes, but he's got like that side door that opens, and then he's got like his little crane that pops out. That's pretty cool. A little retractable crane. He just opens it up and it comes out the side. Go down. Yeah, I said I'd get Carson a service van, and he's like, no, I'm way too cool for a service van. So now I have to spend like 5 times as much on a truck for him instead because it's cooler. But Thomas has a service van. Dude, look at this. Look at the inside of this. That's sweet. When is Thom going independent? Just kidding. Hey Tom, you want a job? What was that? Don't make that noise behind me, please. Do you got like waste oil and like lube tanks and stuff in there too? I want to know what this part is. Here, the little shelfie there. Is that like a drain? I wonder how much it weighs if you're overweight. I keep looking at it. It's a cool setup. I like it. Thanks for sending us pictures of your truck. That's actually a pretty cool setup. If you want your truck featured in one of these videos, send us pictures, video to techemohdmedia.thd. It's in the game. Join our network. Come along with me. Let's go. Get in the fucking truck.